Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Loveworld USA News. I'm Joel Richard. First, a quick look at the top stories this evening. Suspect in Charlie Kirk killing captured. Charges expected on Tuesday. Lawmakers weigh role of rhetoric after Charlie Kirk killing. Leaders urge cooler tone. And President Trump says National Guard will deploy to Memphis to fight crime. Missouri Senate passes congressional map likely to shift one U.S. House seat to GOP. President Trump offers detained South Koreans option to remain in the United States after Georgia ICE raid. And now to the news. A 22-year-old, Tyler Robinson, has been taken into custody in connection with the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, Utah Governor Spencer Cox announced today. Formal charges are expected on Tuesday after state booking on counts that include aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, and obstruction of justice. Authorities say Robinson was identified when his father recognized him in FBI images released to the public. After a tense exchange in which Robinson allegedly threatened suicide, the father contacted a family youth pastor who reached the U.S. Marshals. Marshals secured Robinson until the FBI took him into custody. Cox said investigators believe Robinson acted alone and noted he had become more political in recent months. Investigators recovered a bolt-action rifle near campus and collected cartridge casings etched with messages including, "Hey fascist, catch." Another inscription appeared to reference a video game code, according to officials. Robinson was not enrolled at the university and had been working in an electrical apprenticeship. Governor Cox and President Donald Trump condemned the killing and broader political violence. Further details are expected when prosecutors file charges. Watch this.
I believe the governor, he stated that the suspect said that he had left the rifle in some bushes. So that's where we presumably can conclude that that's where the FBI were able to retrieve that gun, or the weapon was from those bushes there east of campus. We understand, according to this press conference, that Robinson allegedly confessed to a family member, and that's what began this set of events that led to the arrest of Tyler Robinson. We understand he has not been charged, as I mentioned. We are waiting on those charges. The governor explained that those charges are expected to come perhaps by Monday, possibly Tuesday, that we will be waiting on those charging documents.
In other news, members of Congress are reassessing heated political language following the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. House Speaker Mike Johnson said he is trying to turn the temperature down, and Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso called reining in hostile rhetoric always a conservation with people in leadership. Democrats and Republicans voiced concern while differing on causes. Representative Jarrell Moskowitz said this is on all of us, urging both parties to bring it down together. Barrasso added that both parties should avoid language that could incite violence, noting unanswered questions about the suspect's mental health. Now, several Republicans argued that labeling opponents as extremists fuels danger. Representative Ralph Norman said rhetoric like calling people Nazis or fascists is harmful. Senator Bernie Moreno, who knew Charlie Kirk, said the country should go back to the principles of open debate. President Donald Trump said radicals on the left are the problem, while praising Charlie Kirk as someone who wanted to help young people. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer urged unity, saying Americans should come together and mourn. Kirk's killing triggered a two-day manhunt that ended with the arrest of 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Authorities saying formal charges are expected. Let's take a look.
I would ask that all members present in the chamber and those in the gallery please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family.
House Speaker Mike Johnson led the chamber in a moment of silence and prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family. Speaking to cameras outside the chamber, he condemned the violence and called on political leaders to use their voices.
I'm just going to state the obvious here. This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are. It violates the core principles of our country, our Judeo-Christian heritage, our civil society, our American way of life, and it must stop. We need every political figure, we need everyone who has a platform to say this loudly and clearly. We can settle disagreements and disputes in a civil manner, and political violence must be called out.
More news on crime today. President Donald Trump said that Memphis will be the next city to receive a National Guard deployment to combat crime, calling the Tennessee city deeply troubled during a television interview. The move follows his administration's recent use of the Guard in Washington, D.C. The White House framed the action as part of a broader law and order initiative to support local law enforcement in high-crime areas. Officials did not immediately provide details on timing, scope, or command structure, and said coordination with Tennessee authorities is ongoing. Now, if implemented, Memphis will be the third Democratic-run city to see a Guard deployment in recent months. The administration has argued that targeted deployments can stabilize hotspots, backstop police resources, and deter violence. State and local reactions were not immediately available. Now, the governor's office and Memphis officials are expected to outline logistics and public safety guidance once the deployment plan is finalized. Watch this.
Board member of FedEx who said that crime is so bad here, he can't even walk a block without the company, he said they, so we're guessing the company, putting him in an armored vehicle to take him just one block with bulletproof glass. That is the message that President Trump says he received from someone who's on the board of FedEx here in Memphis.
The Missouri Senate today passed a new congressional map in a 21-11 vote during a special session. The House approved the bill earlier this week, sending it to Republican Governor Mike Ho, who has endorsed the plan, saying it reflects Missouri's conservative, common-sense values and will ensure those values are represented clearly and effectively. The plan redraws Democratic Representative Emanuel Cleaver's Kansas City area district by moving it east to include a more rural, right-leaning voters. Analysts say the change would likely flip the seat and give Republicans a 7-1 advantage in Missouri's U.S. House delegation. Cleaver said he would pursue legal action if the bill is signed and called the plan immensely unpopular, citing public polling. If you fight fire with fire long enough, all you're going to have left is ashes, he told the Senate committee. Former President Donald Trump, in his present term, praised the move, saying Missouri voters would have the tremendous opportunity to elect an additional MAGA Republican in the 2026 midterm elections. Missouri Democrats protested the measure with a weekend sitting and a Capitol rally. House Minority Leader Ashley Owen accused Republicans of trying to rig our maps and eliminate our representation. Republicans hold majorities in both chambers. The action in Missouri follows recent mid-decade redistricting moves elsewhere. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott signed a map that supporters say could add up to 5 right-leaning districts. Democrats are pursuing a November ballot measure in California to shift map drawing authority back to the legislature and are seeking gains in New York, Illinois, and Maryland. Additional activities underway or pending in Indiana, South Carolina, Florida, Ohio, which is under a court order, and Utah, following a court ruling as both parties position ahead of the 2026 midterms. Let's take a look.
How will voters respond? Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, whose seat is on the chopping block, he's already out with a statement condemning the maps, thanking the Republicans who voted against it, and he's rallying protesters and voters alike, saying, quote, this fight is far from over. We're already seeing some trade and service unions also organizing against these maps, against the plan to make it harder for voters to change the Constitution. So Democrats may not be pleased with the outcome here, but they do seem rather pleased with the opportunity it presents.
The news will be back after this break.
Pastor Chris in 1 Billion Homes Project is all about making sure the voice of our man of God, Pastor Chris Oyakalomi, arrives exactly when someone needs it the most. It's a global campaign to saturate the world with the gospel of our Lord Jesus like never before.
The gospel is going to go into places that it never was before, into disciplines and areas that it never was before, and establish a higher way of life.
Make a global impact today with your sponsorship of Pastor Chris in 1 Billion Homes Project. For every home you sponsor, you send the gospel where it's never gone. You become the reason someone receives life, a second chance, and finds Jesus. Through the dynamic Pastor Chris in 1 Billion Homes Project, we've been able to expand our global mission, touching more souls, more regions, and producing a wave of powerful testimonies from people whose lives have been forever changed. Your financial support as a Loveworld USA partner is not just generous, it's supernatural power for global impact. Let's keep sending the gospel into every home through the Pastor Chris in 1 Billion Homes Project. Sign up today and sponsor any of the following categories.
It's time for you to give the right sacrifice, the right seed, because it's time for you to get the right harvest.
You can sponsor Pastor Chris in 1 Billion Homes Project by calling or going on our website now. Sign up to be Pastor Chris in 1 Billion Homes Project partner today. God bless you.
Welcome back. This just in today, President Donald Trump has offered the roughly 300 South Korean nationals detained during an ICE raid at the Georgia construction site the choice to stay in the United States or depart, according to South Korean President Lee Jae-myung. Lee said on Thursday that each detainee was allowed to decide individually and that one person had chosen to remain. The raid, conducted at the $4.3 billion Hyundai LG Energy Solution battery plant site, led to the arrest of about 300 South Koreans and 150 others. It followed President Donald Trump's call for foreign companies to respect U.S. immigration laws and hire and train American workers, a message praised by former Homeland Security officials as a deterrent against unlawful hiring. Seoul officials said South Korean firms in the United States are in a serious state of confusion and have long struggled to obtain short-term work visas for specialists. Foreign Minister Cho Hyun said Washington and Seoul would discuss establishing a new visa category for Korean workers following the raid. The episode comes amid U.S.-South Korea trade talks and fresh investments by Korean manufacturers in American facilities. Now, Lee warned that uncertainty could make businesses more hesitant, even as both governments prepare discussions to clarify immigration pathways for much-needed technical labor. In the business front, OpenAI said its nonprofit parents would continue to control the company and also receive an equity stake valued at more than $100 billion as part of a recapitalization intended to fund long-term AI development. Board Chair Brett Taylor said the structure will make the nonprofit one of the most well-resourced philanthropic organizations in the world, while preserving oversight of the business. Now, the company said the recapitalization would allow it to raise new capital while ensuring the nonprofit's resources grow alongside the public benefit corporation. This recapitalization would also enable us to raise the capital required to accomplish our mission and also ensure that as OpenAI's PBC grows, so will the nonprofit's resources, Taylor said. OpenAI and Microsoft also announced a non-binding memorandum of understanding for the next phase of their partnership and said they are working to finalize a definitive agreement. Both companies said they remain focused on building widely accessible AI tools with a commitment to safety. Microsoft has invested roughly $13 billion in OpenAI since 2019. Now, in May, OpenAI said it would keep nonprofit control while enabling broader fundraising by converting its for-profit entity into a public benefit corporation. The nonprofit oversees the PBC and holds a significant ownership stake. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman told employees at the time that the structure is intended to support the capital needs required to pursue artificial general intelligence. More news on the business front. Paramount Skydance is preparing a bid to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, citing people familiar with the matter. The move, which is led by new Paramount CEO David Ellison following the company's August 2025 merger with Skydance, would combine two legacy Hollywood studios under one corporate umbrella. Warner Bros. Discovery said in June it would separate the film studio from its cable networks into a spin-off called Discovery Global Networks, which includes CNN, TBS, and TNT. Now, it is unclear how a Paramount Skydance bid would affect that plan. A completed deal would place HBO and CNN alongside CBS, Showtime, Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, and Comedy Central. Warner Bros. Discovery declined to comment, and Paramount did not immediately respond, according to the report. Now, there has been noted a bid has not yet been submitted and plans could still change. Paramount Skydance merger closed in August for roughly $8 billion and also received FCC approval. Separate reports said Paramount settled a lawsuit with President Donald Trump in July related to CBS News' 2024 election coverage. Ellison is also reportedly exploring a purchase of the Free Press for $100 million to $200 million and is also considering a prominent editorial role at CBS News for its founder, Barry Weiss, if the deal occurs. More news coming to you live after this break. Stay with us.
It's easy to set up, quick to start, and packed with value. Smarter streaming starts here with the Alpha TV Stick. Just plug and stream anytime, anywhere. Discover a curated lineup of content designed to inspire, live broadcasts and global events, inspirational films and series, children's programming, healing and teaching sessions, all on demand. With millions of downloads worldwide, the Alpha TV app is transforming lives across the globe. And now, we're on a mission to reach 1 billion downloads of the Alpha TV app, and you can be part of it. Join the global wave with 1 billion Alpha TV app downloads worldwide. Bring the higher life into every home. Order your Alpha TV Stick today and experience smarter streaming. Alpha, the higher life is here.
Welcome back. A passenger boat carrying nearly 500 people caught fire and capsized on Thursday on the Congo River in Equator Province's Lukolela territory, killing 107 and leaving 146 missing. The incident is the second deadly boat accident in the province this week, following a separate capsizing Wednesday in Basankusu territory that left 86 dead, bringing reported deaths to at least 193. Authorities said it was not immediately clear what caused either accident. State media, citing reports from the scene, attributed Wednesday's disaster to improper loading and night navigation. A local civil society group alleged the toll from Wednesday's accident was higher and blamed the government. Officials were not immediately available for comment from us. Capsizing incidents are frequent in the region as travelers turn to wooden river vessels amid limited road networks. Now, such boats are often overloaded, life jackets are uncommon, and night travel complicates rescue efforts, leaving many people unaccounted for. More news on the international front. Sushila Karki, a former Chief Justice known for anti-corruption rulings, was sworn in today as Nepal's caretaker prime minister following days of student-led protests over graft and also a social media ban. The government collapsed after security forces opened fire on demonstrators earlier in the week. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigned, and authorities rescinded the ban. Police reported more than 50 deaths amid arson and looting that damaged major institutions, and parliament was also dissolved. Karki took the oath at the president's office in Kathmandu under tight military security. A presidential advisor said she will form a cabinet and call elections in roughly 6 to 8 months. The army has imposed nationwide curfews and deployed thousands of troops, while the president remained in office to confirm the new leader on the recommendation of major parties. Now at 73, Karki is Nepal's first female leader and previously served as the country's first female chief justice. She gained a reputation for confronting graft and faced a politically charged impeachment effort after the court revoked a police appointment. The move was dropped following public pressure. She has also been a prominent advocate for women's rights. Unrest and uncertainty persist in the region. Officials said government ministers were sheltered in army barracks during the turmoil, and damage to buildings and records has disrupted basic functions, including the Supreme Court's website. Protest organizers, diplomats from the United States, China, and India, and also senior political figures attended the ceremony as the interim government seeks to restore order and prepare for elections. Now, just before we end the news, let's have a quick look at tomorrow's weather forecast. And to end the news today, let's have a quick recap of today's top headlines. Lawmakers weigh role of rhetoric after Charlie Kirk killing. Leaders urge cooler tone. President Trump says National Guard will deploy to Memphis to fight crime. Missouri Senate passes congressional map likely to shift one U.S. House seat to GOP. President Trump offers detained South Koreans option to remain in the United States after Georgia ICE raid. And that's all the news we have for you today. Join us at the same time tomorrow for more news. I'm Joel Richard, signing off. Good night, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.